Hi there, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening or Alysheba Kitchen, whichever blog you came to this video from. Welcome. I'm going to talk about juicing today. I juice because I want to lose weight. I don't really care about all the health advantages such as a system cleanse and purging and all that stuff. Although I have to say, as soon as I started juicing, my hands got better. I had arthritis a bit and it took me a while to warm up to type. It was either arthritis or fibromyalgia, I don't know, one of those things. But it's gone. Also, I'm into juicing so that I can lose weight. If you've seen any of my videos, I'm not a skinny rail. I carry around some plump weight. And I want to lose it. I want to get rid of it. And just exercise has not done it. I need diet. I need something to kick it off and give me some motivation. And so that's what juicing is for. I have lost, in 24 days, I have lost almost 30 pounds. It doesn't really show yet, but I have a lot to lose. But man, 30 pounds, that's encouraging to me. I can fit into clothes that I've had for a long time that I couldn't fit into a long time ago. So I'm really encouraged. So I want to talk about juicing today and show you one of my favorite recipes. So let's get to it. So what is juicing? Some people have asked me, I don't understand. Is it like a smoothie? Well, it's different from a smoothie. Juicing is where you take the juice out of the food and you leave behind all of the cellular structure of the solids. You want to get out all the nutrients, all the good juices, all the nectars, all the essence and oils of the produce, but you leave behind basically the cellulose, the cell wall, and any solids. You leave them behind as much as possible. That's unlike a smoothie in which you put all that stuff in and you just blend it up. And so you're taking out all the fiber, and when you take out all the fiber and all the solids, your body doesn't have to, it doesn't have to work to digest the food. It just absorbs it. And therefore your digestive tract gets a break, and your digestive tract has a chance to heal if you've got some GI problems or you've got things going on that need to heal. And so you get basically all the nutrients and benefits of eating a ton of vegetables, but you don't have to digest those vegetables. So juicing takes the solids out so your digestive tract doesn't have to. So this is my favorite recipe, and the reason I like it is because it is hearty. It makes me feel like I've had a meal. It makes me feel satisfied. It fills me up, and it's not just watery juice. It's got some substance to it. It's called a red tangy, and the normal recipe is based around one serving. And one serving has a beet, 5 large carrots, celery stalks. I'm dropping everything over here because I'm trying to videotape. A ginger root, 1 thumb of ginger. A thumb of ginger would be, about the size of your thumb. I like a little more ginger. It would also have a jalapeno pepper, and you can take the pepper and use the seeds, or take the seeds out if you don't like the spice. And it has a lime, and has about 2 cups of spinach. That's about 3 compressed handfuls. Now, that's for 1 serving. I like to take a little more, and I add a few things to it for flavoring, but I'm not interested in juicing all throughout the day. I want to make enough to last me a day or two, and so I'm going to make a gallon. And so I'm going to quadruple my recipe. Actually, I do it a little bit more than quadruple because, well, it's fun to juice. So I've got more than 4 beets. I've got about 6 beets here, and some of them are golden beets. I have 3 limes. I have a whole batch of celery, and I'm cleaned, and just take that. I use the greens too. Just take the end off and wash the dirt. About 20 carrots. I don't bother to peel them. I'm not interested in presentation or anything. We're juicing these, and the peels have lots of nutrients. And then I'm going to use 3 jalapeno peppers. I'm going to use a big, maybe 3 to 4 inch nub of ginger root because I really like the ginger. And then right here are all my greens that I'm going to use. This is the greens from the beets, and down in there's 2 big batches of spinach and a whole batch of parsley. This has been in here washing and soaking. Soaking helps it to bulk up and plump up, and washing, of course, gets the dirt off. So that's my recipe. It's really good stuff. I like to add a little parsley to it. I've got a tomato here that I've got left over from a review that I did on my garden blog. And so I'm going to throw the tomato in there, and basically anything I've got sitting around. If I had some excess cabbage or some leftovers from other recipes, I might toss them in this one too. it's a good recipe. It makes you feel nice and full. So let's get to juicing, and I'll show you how we do it. All right, so here's the fun part. And one thing I might also tell you, if you use one of these whatever they call them, these spinning juicers like I've got, I like to put a plastic sack in my hopper that catches all the refuse, all the pulp from the juicing process, because the plastic bag forms a bit of a gasket, and sometimes juices will come out of there when you're running on high. I like to start with my greens, and I like to do them, you want to bunch up your greens as tightly as possible. When I turn this on, you won't be able to hear me speaking, so let's get to juicing. It's as simple as that. You just shove it in, and the magic begins. Go ahead and put a pepper in there with my greens, along with my ginger root. Look at that. That is beautiful, wonderful. You can see different layers from the different kinds of things I've juiced. This is ginger, spinach, beet greens, parsley, and 3 jalapenos. So that's some pretty potent stuff. I'm going to pour this into my jar here because my container's getting pretty full. And I'm going to rejuice this pulp again by taking it out and running it through on high, because ginger isn't cheap. And I really like the flavor of ginger, and I want to get everything out of my produce that I can. Now I do this on high, and you know there's more juice in there if you can form this stuff into a little ball, kind of like playing with Play-Doh. I'll just drop that down in there. And you'll notice if you've got moisture left, that this will give you another few ounces worth of juice. Just makes you feel good to get your money's worth. And you know, it never grows old. It's fun to juice. I got a lot of juice out of that. When you juice, keep a little bowl nearby, one of these little preparation bowls. Helps keep the countertop clean, because when you pull your collecting dish away, there's inevitably going to be some dripping. So I like to put that down there. That's how much juice we got out of the second time around. That's good stuff right there. Again, when you're done, all of this is nice and dry. Most of it, some of the smaller chunks get through, but it's basically like sawdust, and it makes really good compost. You can juice it again if you need to. I've juiced some of my greens again. But the beets and carrots, they're generally dry enough where I don't juice them again. I just send them straight to my compost bin. Some people cook with this stuff. It's good stuff. It's got nutrients in it, a little bit of nutrients in it. There's a little bit of juice left in there. But for the most part, for me, that's good for the garden. So what I have left after juicing all of my vegetables is a little bit of celery and beet juice. There's some lime juice in there. All of my green juice, that's a half a gallon of green juice. And my beets, and I don't know what else is in there, some carrot juice, it's orange on top. And so what I'll do is I'll go through and skim some of the dense foam off, because the foam is reportedly impurities. I'm really not that concerned about it, but it's sometimes it chunks up. So I take some of the foam off, and then I mix everything together. And once I get it all mixed together, I'll put it in the fridge, and that's some good stuff right there. Well, I'm going to mix this up and then pour myself a nice cold glass of juice. I put a little Leon Perrins in there as well. It makes it feel like a good hearty meal. Well, there you go. There's a little bit about juicing. There's a little bit about how I do it, and some of the foods that I use when I make my favorite recipe. I'm going to enjoy some tonight. I'm going to enjoy some coffee as well. I enjoy black coffee. I hadn't given that up. But the juice has been very satisfying. I'm not really hungry, and I think that if you're looking for a way to lose some weight and to set your body right, this is a good way to do it. I've offset some of the cost of my produce by gardening. And I've specifically been gardening tomatoes. And so one of the other recipes I make is a strong tomato-based recipe, and I'll give you that as well. It's basically take everything you would put in pico de gallo at a Mexican food restaurant. That is tomatoes, about half of it's tomatoes, a couple bell peppers, a poblano pepper, a couple of jalapeno peppers, a couple of white onions or green onions, whichever you prefer, some bell peppers, and a big batch of cilantro. I also put some carrots in there to extend it, and I put some celery in there. You'll have to use you'll have to just kind of eyeball it and come up with a mixture that works for you. And I throw a few cloves of garlic in there, but don't tell my wife. She doesn't like it when I juice the garlic, but it really makes it taste good. Put a little salt and pepper in there, or salt when you drink it, and it's also good with some Lea and Perrins, and that's a good hearty meal as well. Juicing can get expensive. I don't really care about the organic stuff. I buy non-organic because, well, quite frankly, I can't afford the organic stuff unless I grow it in my own garden. So I don't worry about all that stuff and the impurities. It's not a big deal to me. I'm here for weight loss, and it's working for me. So there's a little bit about how I juice, and I hope you enjoy it. Maybe you learned something. If you've got some advice for me, I'm always willing to listen and learn, so leave a comment. Thanks. Take care.